Actually, there's two of those. You hold that one. Or you can hold one between the two of you if you like. And I'm going to have you step back just a little.
It's not American Idols.
So I can look at you. And I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me, stating your own name when I say, okay? So I
I, Phil Alibrandi,
do solemnly swear
Do
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the state of Arizona
of the state of Arizona
and the ordinances of
and the ordinances of
the town of Gilbert,
Town of Gilbert,
Maricopa County,
Maricopa County,
Arizona,
Arizona.
that I will bear true faith
that
I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and defend them
and defend them
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge
discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the office
the
of
office of
Town of Gilbert
Town of Gilbert
Planning Commission member
Planning Commission member
in Gilbert, Arizona,
in Gilbert,
of
Arizona,
Arizona,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, everybody. So I'm going to give you 1 second to introduce yourselves, each of you, so we can get that, and then we'll take a photo together.
Good evening. My name is Phil Alibrandi. I'm a resident of Gilbert since 2002. Happy to move from nonprofit, volunteering into a little bit more of a town thing and contribute back to a town that we enjoy being part of. Had 2 kids through the Higley school system here, so we're very happy to have been part of Gilbert and looking to contribute for at least the next year as an alternate member. Thank you.
Jim?
My name's Jim Torgeson. I've volunteered in different boards in the town for the last 10 or 12 years, and I'm married up. I have 2 kids here. My daughter's dancing in New York tonight at the New York Center for the Arts, I think it is this evening. So that's pretty exciting for my family, and I'm just happy to be here today.
Great, thanks. Let's take a picture. Yep, I will. Of course. A photo without me? What?
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor, and welcome to the commission, fellas. Moving down to item 11, discussion of regular meeting agenda. We're okay with the way it's current, correct? Yep, okay. So at this time, we'll adjourn the study session. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. We'll reconvene at 7:10 and kick off the regular meeting. All right, we'll call to order the regular meeting of Town of Gilbert Planning Commission. First item is roll call.
Chairman Brian Anderson,
Here.
Vice Chairman Carl Bloomfield,
Here.
Commissioner Seth Bonda,
Here.
Commissioner David Cavaney,
Here.
Commissioner Greg Froelich,
Here.
Commissioner Brian Johns,
Here.
Commissioner Les Smith,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Philip Alabrandi, and Alternate Commissioner James Torgerson.
They leave already? First night here, they're out. Yeah. All right. Been suggested that we make a couple of items to the agenda. It's been suggested if we're okay moving items 20 and 21 from non-consent to consent. Are we okay with that? All right, so is there a motion of the approval of agenda? I'll look to Vice Chair.
Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as discussed, moving items 20 and 21 up.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Agenda is approved. Next, we'll go to communications from citizens. This time, members of the public may comment on matters within jurisdiction of the town, but not on the agenda. The commission board response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Is any of you from the public wish to address the commission at this time? Not seeing any. Move along to the public hearing consent items. All items listed below are considered consent calendar items and may be approved by a single motion unless removed at the request of the commission board for further discussion and action. Other items on the agenda may be added to the consent calendar and approved under a single motion. Items, we'll be voting items 15, DR 18130 Gilbert Public Safety Training Facility. Item 16, DR 18151 ALDI Grocery Store. Item 17, DR 18168 Gilbert Crossroads Light Industrial. Items 20, GP 18-10 Verdia Cooley Stations. Items 21, Z 18-20 Verdia Cooley Stations. Does anybody need to declare any conflicts?
Yes, I have a conflict with items 20 and 21.
Okay, so the first vote, we'll do 15, 16, and 17. Vice Chair?
Chairman, I move to approve cases 15, 16, and 17.
Motion for approval by Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cavaney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. 15, 16, 17 are approved. Next vote will be for items 20 and 21. Vice Chair?
Chairman, I move to approve items 20 and 21. Move them for approval.
Motion for approval by Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Vice Chair, second by Chairman Cavaney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no, not in favor, say no. All right, motions are moved. Next, administrative, nope, gotta jump back. Now we'll go to the public hearing, non-consent items. Non-consent public hearing items will be heard at the individual public hearing and will be acted upon by the commission board by separate motion. During the public hearings, anyone wishing to comment in support of or in opposition to a public hearing item may do so. If you wish to comment on a public hearing item, you must fill out a public comment form that's located in the back of the room and hand it to staff up front, indicating the item number in which you wish to be heard. Once the hearing is closed, there will be no further public comment unless requested by a member of the commission board. First item is item 18, GP 1812 Bellamy, and item 19, Z 1826 Bellamy. I'm going to hand this one over to Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. Tonight, we'd like to start with Josh on this case.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bloomfield. Commission members, this is GP 18-12 and Z 18-26 Bellamy. This is located on the southeast corner of Greenfield and Germain Roads. It's about 40.04 gross acres. It's located about a mile and a half from the Mercy Gilbert Medical Center and about another mile and a half from the Santan Village Marketplace. This is just a closer zoom up of the location. This is, like I said, a total of about a little over 40 acres. right across the street from the soccer complex, directly to the west of White Wing Estates, and directly north of the case that you heard previously tonight. The general overview of the request is to change approximately 16.08 acres of community commercial and about 23.96 acres of residential, 5 to 8 dwelling units an acre. Change those to 40 acres of residential, 3.5 to 5 dwelling units an acre. For the rezone, pretty much mirrors that 16.08 acres of community commercial to 23.96 acres of single-family 6 zoning designation to 40.04 acres of single-family detached with a PAD. So basically, they're combining the two existing zoning districts into the new district 3.5 to 5 in SFD. This just better illustrates the request. What is currently available, as you see on this inner circle, is the existing 16 acres of community commercial. On the outer edge towards the south and the east, you have single-family detached and 3.5 to 5. This is on the left, you see the current general plan land use designation, and then what is on the right is what is proposed. So once again, they're proposing to change this community commercial and the residential 5 to 8 to residential 3.5 to 5. This is the zoning request, pretty much mirrors the general plan. They are looking to make this entire 40-acre site into single-family detached with a planned area development. The planned area development, the requests for modifications, they're mainly aesthetic in purpose. The first modification is increasing the maximum wall height at the pedestrian entry portal off of both main entries, off of Greenfield and Germain roads. They are also requesting to reduce the minimum wall height of walls adjacent to arterials from 8 feet down to 6 feet 8 inches. They're also, once again, doing this for aesthetic purposes. And the last deviation they're requesting in this PAD is to modify the traditional 50 by 250 landscape setback. As I go through these documents, I will give you a better idea of what they are asking with these modifications. This is once again an overview of the zoning request. And as you see on your screen, this is an overview of the development plan. They're proposing 165 total units broken up into 2 different lot sizes. First type of lot size is the smaller, which is located on the inside, more towards the corner of the arterial. They have 91 units of 3,772 square foot lots. They're adhering to all the rest of the requirements for the SFD. And then as you see on the outside, towards the south and towards the east of this parcel, they wanted to provide a buffer and establish 6,600 square foot lots to essentially act as what is currently zoned there, the SF6, just so they can buffer the White Wing to the east and the residential to the south, with what is currently available for the zoning. And this just is a better visualization of the 2 different lots. In blue, you see the 6,600 square foot lots, so the larger lots, and then on the inside towards the arterials, in the corner, you have the smaller lots. Now, this is the open space plan. As you can see, they have significant open space running through the development. The deviation they're requesting, as you can see by this little red square in Lot 8, that is encroaching into the 50 by 250 landscape area. They're asking just to modify that 50 by 250 so they can accommodate that lot at that location. The 50 by 250 area is indicated by this blue striped area, but as you can see behind it, they're adding an additional, a little over 10,000 additional square footage of landscape area at that arterial corner, and they are also adding a nice feature on that corner to spruce it up. And as you can see here, this is just a visual representation of that that feature on that corner. This is the proposed wall plan for the site. As you can see, there are two green indicators at the entryway, pushed back about 100 or so feet from the right-of-way. These are the entry theme walls which they are requesting to raise the height of to 9 feet 10 inches. That's for a feature. I'll show you that on the next slide. But then also while we're here, they are asking to decrease all the perimeter walls along the arterials to down to 6 feet 8 inches. And as you can see on this exhibit, this is the entryway feature. This is the roundabout. This entryway wall is going to be located right here, and this is the feature they're just requesting to increase just on this feature only. And then also they're raising the that entryway feature on the Germain entrance as well to about 7 feet. So that's encompassed in the request. This is just an overview of their proposed wall plans. Very modern, very sleek. And just in response to some of the neighbors' comments, they were concerned at the neighborhood meeting about changes in traffic patterns for this area. But as you can see here with the current land use, the traffic is significantly higher, the trips per day. As you can see on the bottom, the trip difference, this would be the change in traffic patterns over with the proposed land use. And there is actually only one area that it is higher. It's the AM peak exit hours. During the study session, the commission brought up had a few inquiries that the applicant and staff are able to address. The first one is why change from commercial to residential. The applicant has stated that due to access issues and the commercial being so close to the corner, there's not enough room to put a cut in the center median, so it completely eliminates traffic coming from the west, coming from the east to access the site coming down Germain. Density, they assert that the surrounding residential density isn't, it's not dense enough to support commercial on this site, and are claiming that this is the reason why that this has remained undeveloped since it was rezoned from agriculture to its current one in 2007. And then also the proximity of the Santan Village Marketplace and the Santan Village Mall pulls a lot of the need for retail in those areas and leaves these small commercial corners on the outskirts of that as less viable options. And then also underutilized or vacant existing community commercial land. I do have an exhibit right here. This was done by staff just to simply illustrate community commercial zoning within about 3 to 4 or 5 miles of the subject site and just its current development status. As you can see, the blue, these are undeveloped parcels. Staff on this exhibit, undeveloped community commercial land parcels add up to about 86 acres. So there's a significant lack of community commercial within this general vicinity that is developing. And then there's also a significant amount of underutilized community commercial. For example, this parcel down here is currently being developed on Higley and Ocotillo by a religious organization for a meeting house. So even though it's zoned community commercial, that's not actually being used as such. And then up here on Williams Field and Higley, this area, this is typically not being used for uses associated with community commercial. And then a commissioner asked the location of local grocery stores to this area. And as you can see on this exhibit, there is significant commercial grocery stores in the area. You have Walmart, Winco, Costco right up here in the Santan marketplace, Fry's down here on Ocotillo and Cooper. And so this is just to answer that question. Just going over the general plan land use policies, staff does consider this to be infill development. The predominant surrounding area besides that parcel to the south, the parcels to the south are and to the west are developed currently. And then the applicants providing diversity of housing types as asked for in policy 4.1. They are offering also a buffering, a significant lot size surrounding the denser product in the core. So as I said earlier, surrounding the development and adjacent to the south and to the east are 6,000 square foot lots, a little over 6,000 square feet. So as I mentioned earlier, that's in essence what it's zoned now, SF6 for the 6,000 square foot lots, and that was their intention behind that, in fact, as that existing buffer. Land use policy also just to protect the existing residential uses, as I just mentioned. So just for those reasons, staff recommends approval. I recommend to Town Council approval of GP 1812 and for the conditions listed in the staff report, Z 1826.
Thank you, Josh. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Josh? Okay. There doesn't appear to be any questions. Josh, would the applicant like to speak and present?
Good evening, Vice Chair, members of the Commission. Brendan Ray, 702 East Osborne, here on behalf of the applicant Lennar Homes. We're certainly appreciative of the opportunity to bring this case before you tonight. As you can tell by the thoroughness of staff's presentation, as well as their staff report, I'm not sure if you would like me to make a full presentation. I'm certainly more than happy to. We agree with staff's recommendation to you for approval. We're okay with the stipulations. I understand there are, I think, a couple of neighbors that would like to speak tonight. And so with this commission's permission, I will forego a presentation and would like the opportunity to speak after hearing what the residents have to say.
Right. Mr. Ray, thank you for your short presentation, and if we have further questions, we'll know that we can talk to you. We have two members of the community that would like to speak or that have brought up slips for us. Mike Gianfrancisco is opposed and would like to speak. Did I say that correctly? Okay. Please come up and state your name and your town of residence, and have 3 minutes is what we
Mike
typically
Gianfrancisco
allow.
from Broadland Ranches. My wife has opted out. She says I say too much already, so. But the reason I'm in opposition of any changes or more development in this plan is here's off of your website, the Land Development Code and Zoning Code. This whole project is in direct violation of this code. I don't even know why it ever even was approved. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It says the major one, keep it short, is ensure compatibility among land uses. Well, with SF 43, 35, and high density or low density housing with custom homes, semi-conducting custom homes, horse properties in this whole area from Santan Mountains North, I don't even understand why this was approved, because this is totally incompatible with the neighborhood. this whole project. Then to exacerbate any further with this constant putting as many homes on an acre of ground is not planned management. It's indiscriminate land use. It's just, honestly, it has gotten so bad. It used to be such a nice rural community. Now, the Greenfield, with the waste treatment plant expanding, with the churches, the school, with the especially the soccer fields, Greenfield's almost become a gridlock. Everybody forgets that all that traffic, Santan Valley, everyone's streaming north to get on that 202. Being retired, I can't even go out during the day. That if you go up, and that 202 is backed up a half a mile, Val Vista, Greenfield, anytime. It's indiscriminate. I have to go around to Mercy Drive to try to get to the 202. It's become a safety hazard. This is a safety issue to our community. And then we talk about the impact to our resources. Supposedly, we're in a drought. We're in a drought, so we had 162 homes. How is that responsible planning? We're in a drought. Where are we going to get this water from? I'm sorry, I just don't understand what's happening to our community. We lived in a beautiful rural community, and now we're going to inundate it with as many homes as we can squeeze onto a piece of property. And where are these people going to go? My son has already been hit and run and terrible accidents on that intersection, German and Greenfield. It's just become a real safety issue. So I'm concerned about the environmental impact, the safety issues, the whole lifestyle and quality of life in our area has just totally been degraded. I'm sorry, but my wife and I, we bought this home when I retired from Motorola. I thought it'd be a nice community. We didn't mind 5 dairies around there and the waste treatment plant stinking up the place. We didn't mind it. We thought, oh, it's okay, it'll calm down and be fine. No, so what's happened? No, we're inundated with traffic. It's like I just can't afford to keep moving out further and further. If I could, I would just move out. I'm sorry and you need to understand what's happening. Our community is going downhill. This was a beautiful, beautiful community, and now developers have overrun the area, buying up what's left to degrade our whole quality of life. So I'm just pleading with you gentlemen, you're intelligent to understand the whole picture here, that there's a problem. And
Thank you.
it needs to be addressed, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ray?
This is probably as good as exhibit as any. Members of the commission, thank you again. I heard the neighbor, and I think one of the things that jumped out at me right out of the gate was traffic, and I believe that Josh had a slide. This is a good as place as any to start in terms of talking about traffic. When you look at what the site is entitled with today, with roughly 16 acres of community commercial and another 23-ish acres of SF6. This comparison shows what the trips are and the amount of traffic. We know that the intersection of Greenfield and Germain, where this site is located, is already built at its full build-out. And so we know that the lane configuration, everything is where it needs to be. And I think the important thing to note, as Josh indicated in his presentation, is the total number of daily trips. And you see that there is a 4,000 count reduction between what could be built on the site today versus what we are proposing to change it to. So we appreciate the comments, and certainly when you have a lot of vacant farm fields. I'm from this area and know that anytime you take vacant farm fields wherever and convert them, you're going to increase the traffic. But the infrastructure is in place. It currently exists along Greenfield, along Germain to accommodate this. And again, as was contemplated by the current zoning, which has been in place since 2007, we're actually reducing the amount of traffic. When we look at it from a compatibility standpoint, I think this is a good example. We are consistent with the current zoning along the south and partially along our eastern edge. As Josh indicated, that community commercial, that 16 acres is at the hard corner, and the SF6 wraps it. This area in blue are SF6 size lots. They're 6,600 square foot lots. And so in one hand, we're consistent with that. And consistent with good planning principles, we're locating the smaller lots in this development out along arterials. And as this commission is well aware, when you look at planning principles, you want to put your higher, more intense uses out along the arterial streets, which is what we are doing in this instance. In terms of the quality of the development, this is as good an example as any. I've had the opportunity to work with Lennar on a number of developments, a lot of them within the town of Gilbert. And I can tell you that they are a reputable builder that does a good job. Take a look at Leighton Lakes. And the amount of detailing that has gone into this, from the landscaping, the increase amount of landscaping, this corner enhancement feature, you look at the quality of the walls, the design, the entry features, the sense of arrival that's created, we believe that this will be a good development that is consistent and compatible with the area. We've got single-family homes around us, single-family homes to the south as well, and we're consistent. And so with that, I believe that at least those were the kind of notes that I had jotted down. And so we would, again, recommend this body's approval in accordance with staff recommendation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have or others. I have with me Chris Klontz from Lennar and Andy Barron, who is the land planner. To the extent that I can't answer questions, I may need to rely on them.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Needed to also note that Nancy Gianfrancisco, Mike's wife, noted that she is opposed but did not wish to speak, so we have both of those. Are there any questions for the applicant?
So, Brennan, just as I look at this, I'm trying to just confirm a couple things. It's noted as an existing wall in the wall plan. I'm looking back at the wall plan here. Existing wall between the eastern properties and the subject property. What is the height of that wall? I know you're asking for, I think, a 6'8" on the theme, if I understood correctly, but what is that existing wall comprised of?
I'd have to check. We believe it's 6 to 6'6" in terms of the height of that existing wall that is the border for the White Wing development.
Okay. All right, and then your request to go from 8 to 6'8" is the theme walls, right? The red, is that what you're asking for?
Through the Vice Chair, Commissioner Cavani, that is correct. So the red walls out along Germain Road, heading south along Greenfield Road, those are the ones that we are requesting be 6'8", which from our perspective is consistent with a lot of residential developments around.
There's more aesthetics, though, no other reason than just aesthetics and typical, okay. And that's all solid wall, no view fence at all in those? You got a little view fence in just some of the corners, I see, but I mean the main thrust of it is solid, right?
Through the chair, through the Vice Chair, Commissioner Cavani, yes, that is correct.
Okay, thanks.
The perimeter wall will be solid.
All right, and then I know I wasn't here for study session last month, so I wasn't able to weigh in on this, but I appreciate the transition from dense to less dense as you move into some of the other adjacent properties. It feels a little dense to me still. 6,000 square foot lots, 3,000 square foot lots, those are kind of itty bitty, but I know that ship sailed, and I appreciate the addressing of the traffic impact and that this is a less intense traffic development. So I think, yeah, I don't have any other questions. I think that's good. Thanks.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Well, I'd like to close the public hearing and bring it up to the dais. Anybody want to make a motion or wish to discuss it among us?
Make a couple comments before we do, if I could, please, Vice Chair. So again, I think my feeling is it's a little bit dense, but I know it could be worse. So I think we're good. And I do want to thank the Jan Franciscos if they haven't already left. They might have left. I appreciate them coming, and I'm sensitive to their situation, but also definitely moved by the comments about the less traffic-intensive opportunity here. I think given the other project we reviewed earlier and its density being our concern, that's why I'm belabored here a bit by the density, because we just shot that one down, although it was more dense even yet. So I think so far the layout's fair. I like all the green at the entry. I think it looks like the perimeter landscape's going to be nice. I think the wall is fine at 6'8". I don't have any problem with that. I think the 50 by 250 in the corner is well offset by the offering for more landscape. That's a very fair give back for that corner. So I think that is good. So yeah, I'm fine with all of the deviations requested. I'm fine with the layout. I'll be in favor of it. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Cavaney. Anybody else? Commissioner Froelich.
I think they did a pretty good job of starting off, again, kind of to echo Commissioner Cavaney there, that the properties that are close to the existing residents are less dense, and then they step down the density. I do see that this site, with some of the issues with access for commercial, does make it a bit difficult. Commercial being over 16 acres, it takes up quite a bit of the site, yet it doesn't allow for better access, full access. So I could see why they want to make this change. I think it's a good project overall. I'm okay with the deviations on the walls. I don't have any issues with that, or that corner. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Froelich. Would anybody have any more comments or wish to make a motion?
I would move that we accept the proposition to rezone the property to residential.
One second. I think we need to approve the general plan amendment first, correct? And as two separate motions.
Okay. I would so move.
Okay, we have a,
And I second the motion to approve GP 18-12.
we have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Cavaney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Further motion?
Okay. I can jump in here too. So for the reasons set forth in the staff report, I move to recommend approval to the Town Council for Z 18-26, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Second. We have a motion by Commissioner Cavaney and a second by Commissioner Banda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. And now we'll call the chairman back up to the dais.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair, for taking over for that one. Let's close it out with admin items. Minutes, consider approval of the minutes of the study session and regular meeting on November 5th, 2018. Vice Chair, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
I abstain because I wasn't here, so. yeah.
Okay. Minutes are approved. Communications, report from chairman and members of the commission on current events. Does anybody have anything? No. I do have a question for staff and vice mayor. So I've been noticing all these little scooter things popping up all over town everywhere. Is there some sort of discussion within the town on
We
how we're
can't-
going to address this stuff, but we can't talk about it right now?
We
Is
can't
that-
talk about it right now, and it'll be on a December 20th council agenda.
But you guys are aware of it?
Oh, we're aware of
Okay.
it. How could you not be?
Yeah.
There's 11 on the corner down the street.
Yeah, South Park does an awesome episode about it. It was
Best
so
episode
funny.
ever.
Yeah. And then the next
Seriously,
day, I
best
started
episode ever.
noticing them everywhere.
Oh, I had 2 in my yard on my birthday.
Oh, very good.
Birds in
Targeted.
the hand.
Okay. Well, that was the only question I had. Report from council liaison.
My turn. I wanted to thank you for attending the joint meeting that we had with the town council and the planning commission a couple of weeks ago. I think it was very beneficial for us to sit down together and get an idea of where everybody stands. And I was just talking to Kyle and Catherine about some of the items that were brought up, and we'll look at starting maybe the new year with the new items that were discussed, such as a pledge of allegiance at the beginning of the meeting and my presentation at the beginning of the meeting when there's actually people in the room to hear it so that they can get an update of things going on in Gilbert. We've had our second meeting for the general plan update this morning, and it is going extremely well. I'm really pleased with the consultant that we've chosen for this job. It is a big undertaking. We had some great discussion in the room today. I'm really looking forward to that. You can always visit the general plan website off of the Town of Gilbert website. There's a special tab there for it if you go under planning. And the town council inauguration will be Tuesday, January 8th at 6 p.m. We have a regularly scheduled meeting immediately following, so it'll be a quick inauguration with a quick celebration, and then we'll be getting right to work, just like I did last time 4 years ago when I was sworn in. So it doesn't make for a fun evening because we have to go back, we have to start work right away. But it'll be exciting to be inaugurated for the second time, and we'll have a new council member joining us too, Councilmember-elect Rigler. All I have is Merry Christmas and see you in 2019.
All right, thank you. Planning services manager.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just had a few statistics to share with you from November. So we had 34 new planning cases submitted in November. So that adds to our total of 141 active planning cases right now. And from the building permit side, we have 97% of our residential and commercial plan reviews are meeting our turnaround times, and 100% of our sign permit reviews are meeting turnaround times. We had 74 single-family permits issued, and a total of 490 permits issued overall. And I would also just like to echo to wish you all a wonderful holiday season and Merry Christmas. And our meeting in January will be the 9th. Second Wednesday. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And with that, we'll end it with a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody, and we'll see you all in the new year. We're adjourned.